And that was when I was like, okay, here's the steps to quantum leaping, to having that massive shift that will get you from where you are to where you want to be in all areas of your life without you having to grind, hustle, do all the things that we're conditioned to do. When we go into business, it's not because we want to grind ourselves to dust. We want to make an impact in the world. We want to make a difference. We also, if it's a business, we also want to make money. I like to tell my clients that the challenge is here because you can handle it, actually. And it is here to help you get to your dream. So if we can tweak it just a little bit, it makes it easier to go through that adversity. If it's like, I'm here, it's here because I'm ready for it, I can handle it. And this is literally going to get me where I want to go. So think about a farmer. A farmer plants the seed, and the farmer's part is to take care of the soil around the seed. It leaves the seed alone to do what the seed has the blueprint to do.
Welcome back to the Hustle and Grind podcast, the show where we dig into why real entrepreneurs trade comfort for conviction. This isn't about vanity metrics or overnight success. It's about the stories behind building a reputation that actually matters. I'm your host, Andrew, keynote architect, platform builder, and fellow founder in the trenches. Today, I'm sitting down with Allison Chavez, the obedient, rebel, and best-selling author of The Prosperity Approach. Allison is a trailblazer known for choosing faith over fear, and she specializes in mindset mastery and success strategies that lead to a quantum leap, that sudden, massive shift into a new level of success. Her mission is to bring joy, freedom, and prosperity to families worldwide. Hey, Allison, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate you being here.
Andrew, I am absolutely thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me. You're like a big deal. So I'm really excited to be here.
I like you already. It's great. We have a great time here.
Yeah, we are.
So what I'd like you to do is just very briefly go into a little bit. What do you do? What is your ninja skill? What's your secret skills? What do you do?
I'm a mindset and prosperity coach for faith-based professionals. So I'm known as the obedient rebel. An obedient rebel is somebody who chooses faith over fear and ease over stress to make quantum leaps. And so that's actually what my ninja skill is teaching people the mechanics of quantum leaping, using the energy that will actually move things, using how you think, how you believe, like all of those different moving parts so that you can have massive shifts rather than like incremental successes and skip levels. And it's so fun to see how powerful you really are, to see how guided you really are by a higher power, and the difference that you're here to make. And it's a lot easier actually, and much simpler than we have been made to believe that it is.
Interesting. So I want to dig into that a little bit because just kind of putting it out there, a lot of people think about this stuff as kind of woo-woo or whatever you want to think it is, but it's not. There's something here. And I remember hearing a while ago, and I've heard a couple of times, that there's some like quantum physics has proven some of this stuff. So it's not like this is different. It's a little outside of our experience. But no, it's a thing. There's some more to it. Yeah. What have you seen as far as like, just to those people that might be a little bit, this might be a new avenue for them. And they might be a little skeptical because that's what we do as humans is we approach things skeptically because it's a defense mechanism we have. What are your thoughts on that?
For sure. So I totally understand that as well. And so I like to teach the practicalities of it. Can I share a story, my own personal experience that I had? So I've been in the online space for almost 13 years. So this is not my first rodeo. And I built it from scratch, scaled it to multiple six figures within about 2 years, using all the things that business and society had taught me were the rules: hustle, grind, burn the candle at both ends, be obsessed with work, like all of those things that we're pretty much conditioned to do. And I thought that I would feel accomplished and successful like everybody told me I would. But after 2 years, I looked around and realized that I couldn't sleep because I was in anxiety all the time. I'd gained 45 pounds because I was in 2 years, because I was so afraid I was going to fail and fall. And since my body really loves me, my body's like, we got you, girl. We're going to cushion your fall. And what better way to cushion your fall than 45 extra pounds on your butt? Am I right? And
Yes.
so I had gained weight. I've got 4 children. I could not be present with them. Anytime we went on vacation, I felt enormous amounts of guilt because I wasn't there 24/7 for my clients. And I felt like I was just roommates with my husband. And I thought to myself, if this is what success is, then forget it. And so I rebelled. I torched everything that society and business had taught me about what success is, and I redefined it. And by doing that, within 4 months, I lost 45 pounds. I actually quadrupled my business in 6 months. So I went from zero to almost $250,000 in 6 months. Cash flow, mind you, cash flow. Created partnership with my spouse, and I was finally there with my kids. And the thing that was so amazing is that it was exhilarating. It was fun. It was filled with ease, and it was deeply, deeply healing. And
Mhm.
that was when I was like, okay, here's the steps to quantum leaping, to having that massive shift that will get you from where you are to where you want to be in all areas of your life without you having to grind, hustle, do all the things that we're conditioned to do.
Exactly. So take me through that a little bit, because I think a lot of people, there's two types of hustle and grind. There's the people that, I mean, hard work is hard work. I mean, kind of having that consistency and the discipline
Oh,
to
yeah,
do
yeah,
what you
yeah.
need to do. But then there's the other side where it can become another podcast guest called it the cult of busy, where it's that grind for, there's other reasons behind it. Can you go into a little bit about what that difference, like what you've seen that difference is between you, old you and new you? Like, what was that difference like?
Oh, the old me, and I really love that this is a hustle and grind podcast. By
Yes.
the way, I'm on the hustle and grind podcast. Um, so the difference that is the intention and how attached you are to the outcome. So it was
Mm,
so hard for me to have a good experience as I'm growing my business and scaling my business, because I was like, what if I don't sign this client? What if this doesn't work? And I like to call it a sudden death match. I was in sudden death match with my business all the time, instead of just like letting it naturally grow and flow and like, hey, how is this going to unfold? I don't know. I'm open to the unexpected. I'm going to do the things that I know how to do. I'm going to skill up in other areas because yeah, it's not without work. And hard work is also persistent work, like you said, consistent and persistent. I work hard all day, every day. But the
mm.
hustle and the grind, and when you feel like you're pushing the river and trying to force an outcome, that's when it takes such a huge energetic and emotional and really a spiritual toll on us as well. And a physical too, quite
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of people building large companies, and I've got a number of friends who have done this, where what they'll do is they believe that either their self-worth is tied to how much they can work, whether or not it's productive is a completely different thing. And I often tend to find it's not productive. It's just I feel like I need to work to make myself feel better, or I feel like I need to work to be able to, show off to other people, or I keep hearing, oh, you're crushing it, oh, you're doing this. And I think a lot of in the background, I've seen people do it very well, but a lot more of the time, I've seen people just kill themselves for it, and literally and figuratively. I mean, get to that
Yes.
point where their body is so sick and they're burned out, and their marriage is on the brink of divorce if it isn't on divorce already, and
Mhm.
they're just really miserable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
it's a
And
huge epidemic. Yeah.
it is. And it's heartbreaking because when we go into business, it's not because we want to like grind ourselves to dust. We
Mhm.
want to make an impact in the world. We want to make a difference. We also, if it's a business, we also want to make money and it
Mhm.
bless our lives and bless other people's lives as well. But we have been conditioned for decades and decades that we have to work hard. Like I would feel guilty. In fact, I'm still working on this. I would feel guilty if I didn't put in at least an 8 hour day. Well, who
Yeah.
says you have to spend 8 hours? If I can get something done in 45 minutes, why don't I do that and have it be done and then take the rest of the day off? But my
Yeah.
conditioning has been like, no, you need to be at your desk. In fact, we eat lunch at our desk because well, I'm an entrepreneur and this is what we do. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I still do that.
this is a
I do
terrible
that quite a
idea,
bit.
actually. I think I need to get out of here and change my environment. And so that's where the rebellion comes in. It's about really like rebelling against that conditioning that and the rules that were never meant to serve us, actually. They were meant to get us obedient and to fall in line and control. And so we've
Mhm.
got to rebel against that and really start obeying like what's our desire? What's our heart? What's our body telling us? My goodness, if you're tired in the middle of the day and you need to go lie down for a minute and you're able to do that, then do that. Don't just
Yeah.
drink another cup of coffee and like push through it. Like
Yeah.
honor that, obey the laws of the universe, obey the things that actually work and the desires of your heart, because those will not lead you astray. But we are
Mhm.
taught to not trust ourselves, don't trust your intuition, look beyond yourself. I mean, I was caught in that with the not enough. Maybe this will mean I'm enough. Maybe if I'm making 20 grand a month, that will mean that I'm finally enough. And you can never get there. Like if the energy behind growing a business is that then I'll be enough, that proving energy, you'll never ever get it big enough. And that's why so many people are just, they kill themselves. They kill their relationships. They're just miserable people because they don't understand the energy that's behind it, that's actually feeding the whole thing.
Exactly. And I have been absolutely guilty of that on a
Oh, me
regular
too.
basis. It's
Oh
just,
yeah.
I think that I had a good friend of mine text me the other day, and the quote that he gave me is, "Your path is tougher because your purpose is greater, and every challenge you face is shaping you for something extraordinary." And I think that there's not many people who really understand what that means. And it's that yes, there's going to be more adversity. We're entrepreneurs. We pick life on hard mode. It's not go get your check, retire, and do your thing. That we're
Right.
we're learning everything. If you go into this experience with any level of issues that you haven't dealt with, you're going to be forced to deal with them. But I think there's a certain personality type that makes us really good at what we do. And I think part of that, though, is also we're all very high achieving. We want to go change the world. We're crazy enough to do it. And there's an intensity that comes with it. I think sometimes misdirecting that intensity or using it against ourselves, if you will, can be
Yes.
damaging. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember somebody at the very beginning of business said that if you do it right, business becomes a very, very lucrative form of therapy. And I'm
Tough
like,
love therapy.
holy cow, you're right. Because to your point, that if you it'll unbury all of your demons
Oh,
and
yeah.
all of your not enoughness and all of that programming just comes to just like slap you right across the face and the fears and all of that. And if you're not willing to like walk through the fear, because the only way out is through, it really
Mhm.
is.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of people shy away from that, and understandably so. But for us, if we want to make a difference and a dollar, then we've got to make sure that the intention behind it is the right intention. And what I mean by that is that we are not making ourselves source. Like I run a mindset company, for crying out loud. I'm not running an Instacare. I'm not a brain surgeon. Like
Yes.
if somebody I'm not running a suicide prevention hotline where I'm the only one on the phone. But we tend to make ourselves like if I don't do it perfectly and if I don't do it right, then everything is going to go to crap. And we
Right.
put so much pressure on ourselves because there is a point in the process where everything always goes to crap. It is
Sure.
part of the process. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
you're doing anything wrong. It's part of it. The
Yeah.
messy middle is called the messy middle for a reason. And so it does, we really do have to like strengthen our faith muscles and our trust muscles and follow our vision and trust in our vision and just know that, I mean, I love that quote about the challenges are
Mhm.
here. I like to tell my clients that the challenge is here because you can handle it, actually.
Mhm.
And it is here to help you get to your dream. So if we can tweak it just a little bit, it makes it easier to go through that adversity. If it's like, I'm here, it's here because I'm ready for it, I can handle it. And this is literally going to get me where I want to go. It's not, I wouldn't choose it.
Well, it's different.
Yeah, yeah, that's unexpected.
Exactly, right? So the opening of the show says, there's a reason why we left our 9 to 5 for an 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And one of the things I talked about with another guest earlier is that there's a different level of work-life balance that we have.
Mhm.
Where you're, like you said, some days you're not going to go in at 9, come out at 5 and be done. It's going to be a completely because we're on a mission. There's a purpose behind it rather than just instead of the purpose of going out, paying my bills, doing my thing, there's a bigger purpose to what we're doing. And, again, I totally misquote it. I like kind of cutting this quote apart, but it's the Steve Jobs, we're the ones who are crazy enough to change the world, you know?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And you know what I started telling myself, because I would put myself under an enormous amount of pressure with that. I'm here to change the world. And I'm just here to change my world. I'm here to change my world.
Interesting. I like that.
If I
And
change
then
my world, it's going to have a ripple effect. But now I'm not the one that is, somebody else's life is going to be destroyed because I didn't do my calling or, whatever that is, where we just put so much unnecessary pressure on
Mhm.
ourselves. Oh, it's going to change my world. And I think it has the potential to change other people's worlds too. And that,
Mhm.
and that is such a great motivator. If it's got a potential to be a double blessing, to bless your life and somebody else's life. To me, that is a green light from your higher power, from God, to go ahead and go after that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's, you know, I'm really, this conversation is amazing because I think that finding that balance is something that I've had a huge number of issues with.
Mhm.
And I've gotten myself to that point where I'm going in 7 billion directions and having a lot of trouble with burnout. And I didn't know what it was. And I kept feeling guilty because it's like, I can't work because my brain shut down saying, dude, no, we're not doing this anymore. You know, it's another, it's one of those moments where it's like either you will find time for yourself or your body will find time for yourself at the least opportune time in the world.
Isn't
There's
that
not a,
true?
yeah.
And Andrew, I just have to say thank you so much for your transparency because I think one of the most detrimental things in society is the mask that we all wear, that it's fine, I'm fine, everything's fine, and I'm crushing it, and I'm super successful. And in the meantime, you're like, you can't stop crying, or like, but when we can be transparent, like seriously, so I'm going through this most amazing experience. My brain has been soaked in a vat of exotic butters, which means everything slides off of it and nothing sticks. And it's called perimenopause. And so I will sit there and I'll be like, I picked up my phone for a reason. There's
Uh-huh.
somebody I need to text. What do I need to do? Or I'll just be there in like this fog. And I had never known. I mean, I have such great recall. I've had
Uh-huh.
a gift for remembering people's names my whole life. And now that's changing a little bit.
Yes.
And rather than like fight that, which I have been doing, I'm like, do you know what? We're just gonna lean into this and let this experience be, and also trust that as I rest and rejuvenate, like I teach radical rest as a form of rebellion. It's rebellion against that grind that does not serve us. So when we can, your body is like, we're shutting you down right now, and you're like, except that I have this
But
big
I have all this stuff to
presentation
do.
tomorrow, so this is really not a good time. Like seriously, they have an ER for mental health issues. I was in the mental health ER the day before I had to do a 2-day live event, and I was the one producing it, running it, all of it. And I was
Oh,
like, I got to do the biggest performance of my life. So I totally get that. And that was the point where I was like, things need to change. Like this is not healthy for me. It's not healthy for anybody else. Like we have got to do this. And so when you will make radical rest, that rest of renewal and rejuvenation and all of that, like letting your body rest, letting your brain rest, and just creating that white space instead of feeling guilty and feeling lazy, we can understand like, hey, God is arranging my steps and he's actually going to magnify my efforts as I do this.
huh.
Otherwise, why do we need to sleep?
Yeah.
I believe God created our bodies and our bodies are miracles.
Yeah.
So why do we need between 7 and 9 hours of sleep every night to be high functioning? We need that restoration so that we can then have that white space that we can be inspired and our frontal cortex can just fire and be like, I've got a great idea.
I'm going to go do this great thing. All of those things that make our implementers cringe.
Yes, yes. Totally. Totally. Oh, thank you. I don't understand why they're like, Allison, this is going to take 2 weeks. And I'm like, but I had the idea like 30 seconds ago, and let's do this.
I want it now. Exactly.
I want it now. What's the problem? We have to build it. Oh,
Wait, that
okay.
oh, that thing. I don't want to think about that.
That thing.
I talk a lot about the implementer visionary dynamic, and I think when done right, it can sometimes be spicy, but I think it's
Yes.
it's a necessary kind of balance that happens, and I think it creates awesome things. But there are
It
those
does.
moments when I remember hearing Elon Musk when before the Cybertruck was released, he said, "And it'll be waterproof." And somebody commented, going, "As an ex-Tesla engineer, I can assure you this is the first time the engineering team has heard this." And I just
They're
thought,
like,
wow,
what?
you're a visionary. I love it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And sometimes we visionaries need our implementers to like rein us in just a little bit, help us get grounded. But then also, like, visionaries, we're so inspiring to people. Like, our visions are so inspiring to others. And then people are like, yes, I want to build that. But we live in this time lapse experience right now. So, like, give me a minute. And then it's like, okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for grounding me. And I'm so happy that I was able to inspire you. And now we're going to create something really juicy and just such a blessing for others. It's so much fun.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I have a great deal of respect for both parties in that situation, just because
Me
both of them
too.
have a very distinct role, and implementers, oh, Bless you. You're awesome.
Yes. Hats
You really
off
help
to
us. We
you
appreciate you more than we say we do.
so much, so much. I'm like, you have a genius that I cannot even wrap my brain around, and I love you so much.
I get stressed out thinking about what implementers do. It's just a thing. So,
Yes, yes.
not my
Were.
natural state.
Yeah, I know, I know. I'm like, here it is. Now go make it.
Exactly. Please help with this. Just here.
Yep.
Here's my ADHD brain dump.
Right, right. It's our that's our genius.
Yes, exactly. So I want to get back to kind of some practical things because to anyone walking into this conversation and going, okay, they're kind of weird. I'm not quite getting this. I'm still in the hustle. I'm in the suck. Another friend of mine calls it the valley of sorrow.
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah.
moment when we're just that middle piece.
Uh-huh.
What are some of the things that you saw in yourself that started to tweak something in you going, wait, something's wrong? Like was there a specific turning point? And how did you learn how to remove that control issue and just let things?
Oh man. So I love this question because when you're quantum leaping or when you're creating anything or manifesting anything, you have a very specific part to do and a very specific part that is not yours to do. You have zero control over. So think about a farmer. A farmer plants the seed, and the farmer's part is to take care of the soil around the seed. It leaves the seed alone to do what the seed has the blueprint to do. He doesn't keep digging up the seed to see if it's become a carrot yet. He hasn't been like, oh my gosh, I planted a watermelon seed. Is it a cantaloupe yet? He knows his job. And he knows that there's a certain amount of time that must elapse for all of the nutrients and all of the nutrition and all of the energy that that seed needs to become a fruit that's actually going to bless somebody's life. And so when we're quantum leaping and we're in a process, we have our part that we have control over, which is where are my thoughts going? Are my thoughts taking me to a dark place, or are my thoughts going into possibilities of great blessings and wonderful miracles and just having a good time, for crying out loud? Can we just have fun
Yeah.
instead of being so serious all the time? And then being really aware that when our thoughts are taking us down, that we just get curious about that. So when we're in the suck or we're in the valley of sorrow, not making us wrong for being in the valley of sorrow, but just like, oh, look, I'm here. Oh, this is curious. This is curious. Instead of interesting, because it's not interesting to me or fascinating to me anymore. It's just curious. Like I am a really, really powerful creator, and every single person on this planet is a very powerful creator. And you're either going to create a lot of misery for yourself or a lot of miracles for yourself. And you get to choose. So you have control over your emotions. You really do, because your thoughts create your emotions. And your emotions are physical indicators of what frequency you're on. So we're going to go into quantum just a little bit because this is not woo, this is physics. We
Yeah.
live in a universe of attraction and a universe of vibration. So whatever vibration we are in, we're just emanating all the time. The universe is designed to naturally bring to us the physical counterpart of whatever it is we're feeling, wherever we are vibrating dominantly. So if you're dominant in worry, in feeling like a victim, in nothing's ever going to work out, then you are going to have physical experiences that then give you evidence that you're right, because the universe always says yes to you. So when you're just in awareness of that valley of sorrow moment, okay, you know what? My body needs to cry to release some energy, or my body needs to run and sweat to release some energy, or I need to yell into a pillow or whatever. Like I'm going to honor where I am so I can release, and then I can receive the next step. And
Mhm.
then like so you can get all kinds of control freak over like your thoughts and your emotions and your experience, and really strengthening your intuition muscle, your faith muscle, like oh, like faith is energy, faith is power. It's not just this religious weird kind of ethereal concept. When you know how to use faith right, that is the energy that has the power to physically move things. And it is so cool. But then when we get into the how long is this going to take? What if this doesn't work out? How big is this going to go? It's the when and the how. How am I going to do this? Those aren't for us to control.
Mhm.
That is in a higher power with divine timing and universal timing and like all of those things. There's a lot of moving pieces to our creation. Our job is what do I want and why do I want it?
Mhm.
And what do I do to keep aligning with it every day? It's like really that is the key to quantum leaping is alignment. and being so fascinated with, am I aligned? Am I not? Oh, can I tweak it just a little bit? Am I aligned? I am. Ooh, can I massage it and stay aligned a little bit longer? It just becomes this really, really fun game. And unexpected things are always going to happen. But instead of feeling like you just got sideswiped by it, you're like, oh, I didn't know that that was a gap. Okay,
That's different.
we're gonna close the gap. Okay, we're okay. We're okay because I'm not in charge. I'm just riding this wave,
Yeah.
and we're just going to let it unfold. We're going to let the seed sprout on the seeds timeline, not on my timeline. But I'm still the farmer, and I
I
have
love
my
that
hat.
analogy. Love that analogy. And I think a lot of people can understand what that is where we constantly are trying to control the situation because that's our programming. And I mean, a lot of the entrepreneurs I know have control issues.
Yes.
And it's like micromanaging and other things when you learn to not do that pretty quickly. And
Yeah. If you
especially
want
when
any
the two
sort of
by four,
sanity.
yeah, and especially when the 2x4 of reality comes
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and whacks you upside the head with something and going, oh, that wasn't what I was like thinking was going to happen. And the entrepreneurship therapy, there's got to be a better word to that, but yeah, we'll go with it. The therapy that we get for that really comes in. And so I wanted people to hear what that sounds like. Took me, I mean, and I have a personal story behind this. For me, it took me years to figure this out. I was always trying to control things because I didn't feel like I was in control. And
Mhm.
so instead of understanding that just let things happen and we're going to figure it out, there's some divine guidance involved with this. It was, no, I need to know every single step in this process. And I mean, it comes from my family. My parents' love language was control. It was their thing, because they knew better, So,
Yeah. Yep.
it was their thing,
Similar upbringing.
and I say that because it really was their love language. It's that they felt like they knew what they were doing. They had already been through this. They were relatively successful. I grew up in a pretty middle class family. Dad was an engineer, mom was a psychologist. And they knew how to do this and they knew the tricks. So they were going to control into that. And so they were trying to do the best thing. But I think a lot of times when I learned to just let that control go and just kind of say, okay, I'm going to trust God, Spirit, Universe, whatever, whatever your belief system is. I'm just going to trust that this happens. I'll tell you, it made things easier and things happened faster. And
Yes.
it was completely counterintuitive to what I had been trained.
Yes, yes, and it is. And that is one of the hallmarks of a quantum leap. Psychological discomfort is part of the quantum leap because you are rebelling against your programming. And
Mhm.
a quantum leap defies the logic of the linear step-by-step logic. It defies all of that. And so when you can just like, oh my gosh, my brain is kind of freaking out right now. I must be on the right track because my heart and my spirit is like, oh, yes, let's do this. And I'm going to trust that and follow that. And so it does require quite a bit of awareness and staying present in the moment. Where am I right now? And here's the thing, we are all addicted to drama, right? That is across the globe. We are
Mhm.
addicted to drama. And so how about we get addicted to the drama of our dreams rather than the drama of the potential downfall?
Yeah.
And just like go into those possibilities and like, okay, this is part of it. I call them butt clenching moments. I don't know how this is going to work out, but I feel aligned with this. This feels right to me. And that's one of the gifts that come when you start trusting your intuition and really leaning into your intuition. And God and the universe speak to us all in different ways. So we
Mhm.
have to learn how we receive that divine instruction and that guidance and then trust it enough to just follow it one step. And
Mhm.
do you know what the key is? It's just being willing.
Yeah.
It's just being willing. Are you willing to try it out? Are you willing? I would have so many conversations with God when he would tell me stuff that I need to do. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't know how to do that. And he's like, I didn't ask you to figure it out. Like, are you willing? Are you willing
Uh-huh. Yeah.
to learn? And I'm like, yeah, I'm willing. He's like, okay, here you go. And then he
Mhm.
just like, people talk about downloads and stuff. Then it was just like,
Now I get
oh, this is so
it.
easy.
I feel stupid and inspired all at once. It's an
Yes,
interesting
yeah,
feeling to be in.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Keeps me humble. Keeps me humble. Like, yeah, you are the senior partner here, and I
Yes,
am
yes.
very much the junior partner.
Yep. And I'm going to eat that humble pie with a huge smile on my face because it's going to work out,
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, yes. And you just said what changes everything. It's going to work out.
Yep.
It's going
It's
to
going to
work
make
out. Everything is always working out for me. And if you will make that decision, your entire life will change and the way that you do business will change.
it.
Everything's always working out for me. That doesn't mean that this strategy itself is going to work out for me, but in the long run, everything's always working out for me. At the end of the day, I win.
Yeah.
And so, like, I can, I've had really, really expensive lessons in my life, both financially and in relationships and all of that, but it's always worked out. It's
Yes.
always worked out. And I've become better because of it, not in spite of it. But you just need
And
to
there's
make that tiny little tweak.
exactly, and there's such a freedom to that, knowing that no
Yes.
matter what happens in this world, whatever is going to come into your life, whatever is there, whatever major, recession comes in or whatever's going on, we're going to figure it out. It's going to
Yeah.
go right. And
Yeah.
I think that's something that is just, it's really free. I wish more people understood how to do that,
Mhm.
because a lot of people keep themselves in that lack mindset. They keep themselves in that kind of kept down, just depressed mindset. And they don't
Mhm.
understand that there's just a lot more out there. And you don't have to be like woo woo about this. You don't have to like just hope and, do the faith jumps and all that. What you do is I have a magnet. I gave this to a friend of mine when he was going through some difficult stuff. And it said, proceed as if success is inevitable.
I
And
love
it's one of
that.
my favorite quotes because that's really what you do is like you said, you plant the seed and you just let it grow. And you proceed like this seed's going to grow. There's no other outcome.
Yeah.
And it's not, I want it to grow. It will grow in the future. It's no, this thing's going to happen. I'm going to let it do its job. I'm going to go over here and do what I can to facilitate that. You
Uh-huh.
know,
And you're not like, why haven't you grown yet? Come on.
I mean, we're visionaries. We've been digging that seed up every
Well,
single day to see
yeah,
if there's
I
like another
mean,
millimeter on it.
yeah, but you have a point there. But it's like we have our part, we have action to take. We got to clear the weeds from the soil so the
Yeah.
weeds don't choke off the seed. Like there's plenty for us to do in the interim. But the law of gestation is a universal natural law. Everything has a period of gestation, a period of time in which it has to grow.
Mhm.
So we've got to give it that time. But in the meantime, we don't just sit back and do nothing. Like we can absolutely influence. We can influence the speed to a certain degree, and we can absolutely influence our experience during that waiting period. And the experience that waiting period can be filled with miracles or it can be filled with misery.
Mhm. Yeah,
I choose
exactly.
miracles now. I used to choose misery. I didn't mean to, but that's
Yeah.
how I was trained. And
Yes,
we
exactly.
all are trained that way. We all are trained that way.
We are.
We're all
And
programmed.
again, it's one of the fun parts about being an entrepreneur is you're forced to look at that and go, if you do not make this change, you are going to burn out. Period.
Yeah.
There's no other way around it because
Yeah.
it's such an intense world. We're depending on ourselves to go forward. Instead of saying, I'm going to my 9 to 5 job, they're going to give me a paycheck every week. And as long as I generally do a decent job, they're going to keep me around for a bit unless there's a layoff, just general,
Mhm.
it's an easier route. We pick the harder route. But it also means that we get a lot more we get a lot more reciprocation from that as well. And so
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so much fulfillment, so much
yes,
satisfaction,
yeah,
all of those things. Not to say that people who, I mean, we need people to be
yeah,
implementers. We need people to be employees that will build our vision and help bring it into physical form for
mhm,
sure. So we all have a very important part to play. But yeah, we do. Like it is actually really, really practical. And so I appreciate you bringing that up about like this just kind of feels woo and I got to use faith and I got to use trust, which is why I am so practical and so grounded because I'm like, I need to know how to rinse and repeat this process of success so that I am fed as I go and I'm not drained. I'm actually like lit up so I have more energy to share with others as I go rather than thinking that I have to sacrifice myself on the altar of success. I don't need to do that. And so like I'm like, what okay, I need to do this and then I need to do what? And it's not strategy, it's the inner game. It's what do I need to tweak? Just tiny little tweaks. And it's so much fun. But I remember the first time I did that, I had the most specific impression of you need to write down what you did mentally so that you can rinse and repeat this. So I did. I'm like, step by step, this is what I did. And then it was like, now go teach it because that's the process of manifestation and that's the process of creation and and quantum leaping your way there instead of like, well, I don't know how I got it. I just stopped worrying about it and then it came, and then
mhm,
we're just like, can I do it again? Probably not. Then we
yeah,
think it's a one hit wonder or it was a fluke or whatever. But when you know, I mean, God has order and there are steps, and the universe is a universe of order and harmony. And when you know what the laws are, you know how to use the laws and apply them. Oh man,
yeah,
life becomes really, really fun.
absolutely, absolutely, and it really does. And I think both of us have experienced that, and we can tell you from firsthand experience. There's just it's so much. It's I won't say it's easy because there's still some work to do, but it just flows, and
Yeah.
the worry level is so much lower because you just know
Oh
it's going to
yeah.
work. and it's
Oh
just going to
yeah.
keep coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but it's filled with ease. But
Mhm.
what I did realize that I no longer had to deal with was stress. I
Mhm.
wasn't stressed about it. Did I still work? Absolutely. Did I work 14 hours yesterday? Yes, because I was in creation mode and I was like, I am writing this way for as long as I can. And then my brain was like, so now we need to stop because it's like 9 o'clock. So I'm like,
Now we're
okay,
going to
I hear you.
transition.
I hear you. I'm going to, I'm going to follow that and honor my body and all of those things. But it's not because I got to get this done. I got to check this box. And it used to be that way. And it's not that way anymore.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're getting towards the end of the podcast, and I do have one question that I ask people, just because I want to give back to the audience. This question comes from the Bigger Pockets podcast, where I learned about the book Think or Grow Rich. And so, what I always ask my guests every time I have them on is, what is one book or podcast that has had a significant impact on your life that you'd like to share with the audience?
The Science of Getting Rich book by Wallace
Oh,
D. Wattles, who was a
interesting.
contemporary of Napoleon Hill. That
Interesting.
book changed everything for
Huh.
me.
How,
And you can
how's
get it on public domain. So you can just download a PDF for free and read.
interesting?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Huh.
That
I think that I have to go back and check, but I think that's the first time we've had that book. And it's one of those, we keep hearing these people who literally 100 years ago were still also doing these things, because Napoleon Hill teaches a little bit about it. William Waddles teaches a little bit about it.
mhm.
And, I think now we're starting to see it come to the forefront some more. And I think it's really a fun thing. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for the book recommendation. Appreciate it. Thank you
Mhm.
for being on the podcast. This is something, as you can tell, that I have a huge passion for, that I had to learn the hard way. And once I learned it, it's something I want to share with others, because I think it can really help a lot of people. And so thank you so much for being on the
Yes.
podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. What a pleasure.
Thanks for tuning into the Hustle and Grind podcast, where we unpack what it really takes to build something that matters. If today's conversation hit home, do me a favor. Share it with someone who's in the trenches too. And if you're building your own brand, platform, or message and want help turning that story into serious authority, head over to theauthorityforge.com to see how we can help. Until next time, keep showing up, keep shipping, and keep chasing the work that sets you on fire. I'm Andrew, and this was the Hustle and Grind podcast.